you want.
We are going to talk about the ATP and ADP cycle. To start off, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, while ADP stands for adenosine diphosphate. If we look at this picture, you can see that ATP has three parts: adenine, a ribose, and three phosphate groups attached to the end. When you combine adenine and a ribose, it is called adenosine. These regions are very important, which you also need to be familiar with. The adenine section is a purine base, while the ribose is a sugar. And the three phosphate groups are actually where the energy is. And energy is a very important term here in ATP, because ATP is the energy carrier of a cell. So it is the purpose of this molecule. The energy is actually in between the phosphate, which is stored in the bonds. So if the ATP molecule is used, the last phosphate is broken off. It is for things such as active transport, cell division, inhaling, exhaling, for us to move, for cells to grow and develop, and also for protein synthesis. So to use ATP, you actually end up breaking off the third phosphate group. And then you get a molecule with a phosphate and Pi, or inorganic phosphate, plus energy. And it is when you call it ADP, or adenosine diphosphate. ADP is easily converted back into ATP, which happens in cellular respiration. This is when we intake food and oxygen. So now we can get a cycle. Let's start with ATP. When our cell starts with its job, it also starts to use energy. So the energy goes off. And you lose your phosphate. This phosphate is called inorganic phosphate, or a Pi, plus energy that you lose. It is our released body fluid. An example of this is sweat or urine. Then you end up with ADP. ADP can become ATP cycle. ADP can become ATP again when you combine another phosphate and energy. This is when we intake food and it will be processed through mitochondria, or the powerhouse of the cell. It will be back into a molecule with 3-phosphate, which is ATP, and the cycle goes on and on.